Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Friday, TGIF. We made it. It is Friday, September 29th. Welcome back to Bookie Monsters. My name is PK, and Monday through Friday morning show, we look at the new releases each week so that we can satisfy our omnivorous appetite for books. How's that for a 25-cent word? Hope you have your coffee. I have my coffee for the next 25 minutes. We're going to talk about books. What we're going to talk about first, though, is tomorrow is the last day of September, which means it's the last day of Spy versus Spy September. I hope you guys tried at least something. Keep an open mind, give it a shot if you like it. If there was some more things that you wanted to share, what did you guys read? Because I am always looking for new things to read. I love what you guys are reading. I can show you what I read. I had hoped to read more this month, but I did get 5 done. So approximately one a week. I started with Hawk by Ted Bell. That was very Clive Cussler-esque, guys kind of book. But I liked it. I'm not rushing out to read this series. I know there's several books in the series. Sometimes first books just have first book itis, so I haven't given up on it. Then I read Secret Service by Tom Bradby, which I really liked. I gave it either 4 or 5 stars. And this is very in the vein of MI5 Spooks show. There's 3 in this trilogy, we'll say, and I will definitely be picking up the second one sooner rather than later. I listened to the audiobook of City Spies by James Ponti. Highly recommend it. 5 stars, especially the audiobook. The performer does really well suggesting the accents because every kid is from a different city. Everybody is pretty much from a different place. So without being heavy-handed and being one person, the performer did a fantastic job. And the story itself, I keep saying, was often better than adult books. So definitely recommend that one. I also read A Sense of Danger by Jennifer Estep. This one had more of a romance tinge to it. A secret society, a secret agency, and yeah, it said they're fans of Alias, the TV show. I liked it. I will probably read the next one. I don't know how quickly, but I did like it. And I know that this author has a lot of other books out there too. So I am glad each one of these I have found new authors. So I'm very, very happy. And then I just finished listening to the audiobook of Killers of a Certain Age by Deanna Rayburn. I've known Deanna Rayburn's works for decades, reading her first historical mystery way back when. This is a standalone, and it's about 4 women who have hit 60, and they were trained to be assassins for a secret society called, secret agency called the Museum. And suddenly they are being targeted for termination themselves, and they don't like it. The audiobook is really well performed as well. I have a really hard time with audiobooks if the performer and performance is not tolerable. And this was more than tolerable. I really, really, really liked it and highly recommend it. So that's what I had going for my Spy versus Spy. I'm so glad to at least get it launched out in the world because I think this is a great subgenre that is overlooked sometimes. So I appreciate those who participated. What I'm currently reading, my weekend reading, partially, is The Running Grave by Robert Galbraith. This is 7th in series by J.K. Rowling's pseudonym and very J.K. Rowling-esque. This one is 960 pages, so it's going to be a while for me to read. I'm currently on page 127. I am reading the physical Book, um, which is a little bit more difficult to haul around and read in bed than it would be the Kindle. But my mom has the Kindle version right now, so I'm reading the physical book version. But I am also, I'm kind of still working on Network Effect, but I'm kind of also thinking it has occurred to me that the Robert Galbraith is a little heavier. I don't know if necessarily darker. It is contemporary. It is a private eye, but they are taking on a cult, shall we say, very much like, well, I won't say it, but that's in the news and has celebrities involved in it, shall we say. So it's kind of heavy in topic. So I'm kind of looking around. I usually try to have about 3 books going. So I don't know what I'm in the mood for to add to the clean palate cleansingness for the weekend, but those are things that I am reading. So with the month ending, what is up next? I list here the Bookie Monsters Gothictober Readathon. It's not necessarily readathon, it's more of a theme. I absolutely don't do horror books. I don't need those images and concepts in my head. But I do appreciate the good Gothic romances, as you can tell from this graphic here that is taken from the Gothic romance cover. And I grew up with um, Barbara Michaels, Phyllis Whitney, Victoria Holt, those kind of books. So I have that in my genetic makeup. So I was thinking when people were talking about I'm going to do Halloween, I'm going to do scary, spooky. I say I can't wrap my arms around that, but I could go back and read some Gothic books. And there are some books out there that I have not read that I've always meant to read, and maybe reread some things that have been, it's been so long that they would be practically new. So I went on, I've gotten into the habit of doing Amazon lists. They're just a great way to store books and things that one is interested in. So I kind of came up with a list of some books that I might try to read in October. Again, these are possibilities. I'm not going to hit each and every one. And several of these are actually in audiobook form that I would prefer to listen to because I do have some Christmas projects I want to work on. Um, Crocheting, cross your fingers. So doing an audiobook while doing that would be helpful for me. So some of these are going to be in audio book form. For instance, Dracula. I know Audible has a version of it with Tim Curry, Alan Cummings, and so I'm kind of looking forward to doing that one. Hound of the Baskervilles. I believe I've read. Now Dracula, I've never read. Hound of the Baskervilles, I'm sure I read a very, very long time ago. And audiobook, Stephen Fry has done all of the Sherlock Holmes writings, all of them. So I want to listen to that by Stephen Fry. Susan Hill is a UK author, contemporary, who also loves the Gothic genre, along with, she writes a police procedural set in the UK series, but she has also done some standalones in the Gothic realm, and one of hers is The Woman in Black, as opposed to The Woman in White listed here, which is the classic by Wilkie Collins, which I have also not read. So I might do that also as an audiobook. I've got a couple versions from Audible that I'm looking at. I don't know which way to go. So again, these are all possibles. The Woman in Black by Susan Hill. Diane Setterfield has written a couple books. I don't think she's writing currently, but I did read her 13th Tale and really, really loved it. This was a book that she came out with after that called Once Upon a River that has very gothic-y overtones to it. Ray Bradbury's Something Wicked This Way Come. Of course, read that probably in school. And I love Ray Bradbury. And so I was thinking, yeah, maybe I could read that. Let's put that on the list. And of course, Kenneth Branagh's movie's coming out, A Haunting in Venice, which is based on the book by Agatha Christie, Halloween Party. I've not read that one. So I have that one on my list as well. And then we are getting into other possibilities that maybe aren't as strong. But again, I put them on there as possibilities, and this is not going to be the only list. I'll be adding and subtracting as the month goes on. Victoria Schwab writes in fantasy, and she has apparently also written a more paranormal gothic-y one here that I listed here, City of Ghosts. And then, of course, thinking of the gothic kind of vibe books, you think of Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. I absolutely love Rebecca. I've read it more than once and decided I won't reread it, but there are other authors out there who have done their own twist on Rebecca, one of which is by Sally Bowman, and her book is called Rebecca's Tale. And then Susan Hill again wrote one called Mrs. De Winter, and that is in the Rebecca world. So those are possibilities. Just makes me smile just to think of the book Rebecca and Manderley and Max De Winter and all that. That's just makes me happy. Robert McCammon books have been on my TBR for probably decades, and maybe this is the month I read it. This is the first in a series called Speaks the Nightbird, and I believe it's set in the late 1700s, which is a time period I really, really enjoy. And so maybe this is, maybe now's the time. I might even have this one on Audible. I'll have to double check. And then this one came on my radar recently. It's by Jill Dawson, and it's The Crime Writer. Look at that cover. Doesn't that just give you, I just want to read it. So those are some of my possibilities for some gothic type reading. If you have any recommendations, I would love to hear it. But again, I don't do horror. More of that. I know there's some great recent ones with more of the Hispanic historical elements to them, and I am thinking about those. I was thinking more of doing some more of the classics before getting to those, so that might be more for next year's list. But definitely let me know if you've read them, what you thought of them. I've seen some booktubers who have read them. So those are my possibles for doing the Gothictober themed month. So we'll see how it goes. And then I did also make a list of things I'd like to hit. These are some next in series for me that I'll probably be reading in October. The next in the Veronica Speedwell series, An Unexpected Peril, definitely will be reading that. I need to be getting back to Anna Lee Huber's, both of her series, but this is my next one in the Lady Darby series. I would love to get back to the Tasha Alexander historical mystery series. This is the next one for me. I might have read this one. I did read the first 5 or so in this series and then moved on to other things. So I don't know if this is a reread or not for me. Been meaning to get to Jennifer Ashley, Death Below Stairs. Dark Corners, definitely as soon as it comes loose from the library for me, I'm going to be jumping on that. That's second in that series by Megan Golden. Really like the first one. Next in series for me with Dance with Death in the Will Thomas series. Baker and Llewellyn partnership, sort of a Sherlock Holmes Watson kind of dynamic there. And next in series for me by Ira Irina Shapiro, Murder at the Mill. And this Colleen Cambridge just came out this week, Murder by Invitation Only. That one is a historical mystery series. This is the third, I believe it is. And the main character is the housekeeper for Agatha Christie. So Agatha Christie sometimes does some cameos in there. But that has been, and I have many more next in series. This was just the short-ish list that I started on Amazon here. Let me go to, I have another list of things that are on my TBR. This is from my the blog that I do. My next in series in the Victoria Thompson Gaslight series, Murder in the Bowery, is on my list. Next in series, A Legacy of Murder by Connie Berry. Next in series, Three Can Keep a Secret by Emmy Hilliard. I really would like to get to the third in the Jim Butcher Dresden Files series. That is Grave Peril. I have that as an audiobook also, so that has a very strong possibility. Next in the Andrea Rose Rexford and Sloan series, historical, Murder at the Serpentine Bridge is next for me. Next in the City Spies audios, Golden Gate, the Julie McElwain time travel, Betrayal in Time is, I think, the fourth one I'm on. A sci-fi series, it's the fifth and last in that series, called Resolved by Jenny Schwartz, and so forth. So also in October, I follow the scavenger hunts on Killer Cozies. I already read the one that has the 2 letters in the title. I won't tell you what it is. I think we're revealing it next weekend. But these the second prompt for the month is cat on the cover, and these are the ones I'm looking at right now. An Ellery Queen, Cat of Many Tales. The one I'm really strongly leaning towards is Mary Stewart's Touch Not the Cat. I'm sure I read that back in the 80s. And that would be a nice gothic-y, nostalgia-y kind of a read. And then I also found this Wiretaps and Whiskers by Emmy Canaday. That's kind of catching my attention, but I'll be adding to that as we go along a little further into the month. If I've not shown you, I also, my blog that I do Monday through Friday is, so I talk to my mom on the phone on Mondays and Fridays, but I do this every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so she knows I'm okay. And just to have a place to also list some of the things I'm reading. I'm participating in the 1,000 pages read count this week that Sarah at Bookish Knitter is doing. Here's what I've been tracking up through yesterday. I'm at total so far 716 pages read. But as you can see, Sunday starts out strong, and then as the week goes on and the work week takes its toll, my pages read count goes down. So it'll go back up hopefully for today and tomorrow. So this also lists not only what I'm reading, this is what I've read this month, this is what I've read last month, and here's the list of everything I read in 2023 so far. And then that was that nearish TBR that we went through earlier. So that is also a resource if you want to check out what I'm reading or get some ideas. I read a wide variety of books. Let's go back to here for a minute. Mary. You're not late. You're fine. It's early. So sorry to be late. This cold. Oh no, a cold's trying to get me. It got Steve and it's trying to get me. I'm fighting. I'm running away. Take care, please. End up going to bed early last night and now late getting up. Well, that's the best thing to take care of it. You need the rest. You need rest, lots of fluids, chicken soup, homemade if you can get it, or somebody else make it homemade for you. You know, yes, you do eat a red variety. Exactly. You gotta shake things up a little bit or it gets a little too boring. So, yep, I read mysteries and a lot of subgenres in mysteries. I read romance, I read sci-fi, I read fantasy, I read nonfiction, I read dabble a little bit into regular fiction. I am open for anything because I'm a bookie monster. Nom, nom. And you have a show this weekend too, Mary. Are you gonna go? Or if you're not feeling well, are you gonna skip this one? Or is there no choice? Coffee's required. Oh, the alarm's about to go. Anyway, I hope you all have a very good weekend. It's supposed to be a little bit cooler this weekend, maybe at least Sunday. It might rain. Show must go on. Indeed, it does. So, I thank you everybody who has watched the shows, or live or on replay. Appreciate that very much. Be sure to hit the like, hit subscribe. Tell people about us. We're kind of stuck at the 133 subscribers for a bit. So if you want to tell a friend, bring a friend, let them know. That'd be great. No reading sprints tonight, but I do have reading sprints tomorrow afternoon. That is at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, 3 p.m. Eastern, and we'll go for 5 hours. So bring a project, bring a book, take a nap. We'll be listening to some nice ambient noises and listen to it while you're being productive throughout the day. Whatever you want to do, that's great. There is a church in town that does a used book sale that's been going on all week. I had thought about hitting it tomorrow morning before the sprints, but I'm probably not going to now with the cold trying to get me. I'm gonna get as much rest myself as possible, and I certainly don't need more books at this time in the house. I need to have books going out, but we'll see. Play it by ear. Anyway, I hope you guys all have a very safe and happy weekend and reading good books. And I hope to see you tomorrow during the sprints. Mary, you take care, please. Get some good rest. You're going to have a great show. I know it. And otherwise, guys, I will see you hopefully Monday. Monday, 6 a.m. We'll be looking at mysteries that are being released next week. All right. Remember what it says here. Don't be a bookworm. Be a bookie monster. Nom nom. God bless.